Okay, good evening all. Uh, Welcome to our new webinar series that is concept to conclusion. This webinar series we started with an idea of inducing some research orientation in our folks and motivate them to do involve in more research and start writing papers, research papers, and get more credible or good research articles being published in international peer-reviewed journals. That was the main intention. uh, as you can see, recently our Infosys Narayan Murthy sir said there are not much innovation or no innovation in India for the last 60 years. So this is the kind of interest our folks have in research and publication. But let us not get demotivated. Let us keep on, bombarding this idea into everybody's mind so that slowly people will join us and get motivated to research more, get into research and publish more and more. So yeah, with this I welcome yeah, with this, I welcome our speaker for today. We are inaugurating with one speaker. I always held her in very high esteem. I have been following her. Never met her personally, but I know her for the last almost, ever since Facebook started, I would say. I think one of the early Facebook friends, but we never met each other. But looking at her achievements are really amazing and very surprising to know that she's also a grandmother. That's what somebody told me today morning when I was speaking to some common friend. Said, do you know she is a grandmother now? I said, oh, this is something it missed out of my mind. So with this, I introduce Dr. Sana Prasad, and for this program we have our professor and HOD of preventive and community medicine, Dr. Nagendra Gowda. Sir, he is also here in the program. So he is going to moderate the program, and he has fantastic knowledge and experience as far as this subject concerned, research and publication concerned. Is there with us, and with this one brief introduction, I am going to stop share and to give an introduction about ma'am. See, it's very big CV. I wouldn't be able to make justice. I will just share this. Oh, some other this thing I shared, I think. Where is this? See, if you want to your CV to be how it should be, uh, I will just share this. Hope this will be a motivating factor for all our folks who are here. Here it is. Why this is not getting shared? Something else is getting shared. I don't know why. Let me stop share. Whether this document is open or not. Yeah, this is open. Let me reshare again. Share. There. Yeah. Can you see this CV, friends? Yeah, see, I was just going through, it was amazing. You know, ma'am, she graduated from Delhi University. I see she has traveled all over India for that matter. So she did the BSc honors in mathematics. That was one of the most difficult subject which I found. And after that, she did, MPhil, MSc in mathematics, specifically statistics, followed by MPhil in statistics, and again PhD in mathematics. We always found one of the most difficult subject to learn. In my family, my elders always says, ದೇವ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಗಣಿತ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ರಿ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ರಿ. Means somehow in my family we could never learn mathematics properly. That's our weakness, but that is something which she has mastered. And I would like to put it in single word. In a single word, she is a data scientist grandmother, I would say. But look at her, she wouldn't look like a grandmother to us at all. And after that, see the entire CV. I'm going to mail it all out to all of you to get motivated, and so that in sometime in future, all junior folks will have say CV something like this. I want to mail it all to you. So with this, ma'am, welcome to this program. So hope with your introduction and with your beginning, we will get a big momentum for this program. And I would like to call this as a movement. We are going to create a movement, this research oriented movement in our country, in our specialty specifically. Welcome, ma'am. I'm going to stop sharing that, and please, you can share your presentation and start off. So what we'll do in between, I'm going to ask you a lot of casual information about yourself, your work, and other things. I hope you
Sure.
would mind, to make the event more interesting. Yeah,
So thank you very much for those kind words, sir. It was very
yeah,
sweet of you.
yeah.
So this is how we can leverage our interests and our connections to be mutually beneficial. As sir said, I also didn't know that he was doing such pioneering work in ENT area and also in the research area. And regarding the CV, I thank you so much for your kind words. Yes, my interest, to be very honest, was in statistics and mathematics. But from the last about 10 to 12 years, I have understood one thing. If you're sticking to only one specialization, if you're sticking to only your area, we cannot grow. And no one can grow. We will be, we will be stuck there, so to speak. So all my life, I have been a statistics and a mathematics faculty, mainly statistics, not much of mathematics except operations research. And I was stuck in that area because, I was like doing the teaching, learning the same thing. I mean, a little bit of research because university professors, we're also, we're supposed to do research, so to speak. Anyway, one part I did realize that many of my students are going out into the world. They were coming back to me with information, how industry is functioning, what are the requirements there. And I realized that we are actually falling behind academics because we are kind of cocoon. It's not by it is not by chance. It by our own choice. It has become like that. When we interact with the industry, when we find out what is happening in the outside world, and we upskill ourselves, then only we can learn. I still remember in 2014, 2014-15, the university I was working in changed its syllabus and to make it more practical oriented, application oriented. To be very honest with you, around that time itself I started learning Excel, SPSS and all. I knew, but I was never using it for my research. Also, I was not using it. When I mentioned this in the Bangalore University Teachers Forum, that our university has started such a training program, one of the teachers, he immediately his reaction was, "Ma'am, at this age, how can we learn all those things, ma'am? It is not possible." That actually was a very unique moment for me. I took it as a challenge. I said, "Why?" Yes, I was past 40 that time, but I didn't mind. I said, "Let me become a student again." It was a long journey, and it is a very fulfilling journey. And because of that, actually, I changed my career track. I also got into industry. I am doing some consultancy, a lot of research in Excel, SPSS, R, Tableau. Software is not important. What software you use doesn't matter at all. You use Excel, use SPSS, use MATLAB, anything, Python. What is important is that you know the theory behind it.
Yeah.
So this is where I started strengthening my theory as well as applications. Because if I talk only about theory, people will get bored. If I talk only about applications, then I will be another programmer. So the balance between the two is what is very important. And as Sir was telling, why should we publish? Why should we, give the world a glimpse of our research? And as doctors, I have a very close friend of mine. She's a doctor in Victoria Hospital, Bangalore. She's a burn specialist. Any degree of burns, she's capable of handling it. And Victoria Hospital, Bangalore, as you know, is a government hospital. There are many cases which come dowry deaths, suicides, accidents. And she handles all of them in a very unique manner. And she was telling me one day that every case she attends is a paper
Yeah.
because every case is unique. Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
So doctors will be able to understand it better because you are exposed to daily data. See, academicians, we only when somebody approaches with data, we get the information, or we'll have to Google and see and then find out what the data is all about. But doctors are having data day in and day out,
Yeah.
and how you're going to use it, how you're going to share it with your fellow doctors and the other people is very important. And that is where the very important point of publishing comes into the picture. There is no meaning in doing many things and not and keeping quiet about it. You have to publish, and we all know that, especially youngsters. I see some people here. I think they're all, most of them are youngsters who are on
All
the
the
work.
youngsters except you and me.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay.
But we two are young, you know. We
Yes,
are
yes,
more,
sir.
I consider we both are
So,
more enthusiastic.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see this many number of participants on a Sunday evening, which
Yeah.
is really good. And actually, we also, it was I also forgot. Otherwise, I would have shared it in my groups a little. The past 2, 3 days has been very hectic for me. I also forgot to ask you. Next time we can make a more, we
No,
can
no.
bring in more people.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
So
get momentum for this program.
yes, yes,
Sure,
definitely.
next 2, 3, by the time another 2, 3 programs, we'll have minimum 100 in our.
Yeah, yeah,
That I will ensure.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I made a mistake. What happened? This message I embedded in that WhatsApp message,
Mm-hmm.
and many people just called me a few minutes back saying that they're not able to go to that link.
Ah,
That's a mistake I did. That next time onwards, I'll
not a clickable link. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even I
it
saw
was not
that.
a leak. Yeah, it was not a clickable link. That's the
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. See, the statistics in SPSS are is okay, but I also see that you're into Python and MATLAB. You know, they're all together a different this thing. Huh? Now, how did you manage to learn those things?
Yeah, it was not learned in a short period of time, over a period of time. And necessity is the mother of invention, you know. When, see, for example, now I'm teaching in a business school where everything has to be taught using Tableau. Tableau I had learned long back, I have to now revise. So
Yes,
when they asked me, I immediately agreed. I thought it is Excel. Then when I saw the syllabus, it was Tableau. So now I have to add one more skill to my resume. So like that.
yes.
But yes, why another reason why I wanted to talk to everyone today is that I recently had some discussion with S. Vyasa University in Bangalore. I think everybody knows here what is S. Vyasa University. It is one of the famous yoga research institutes.
Okay.
I happened to have a detailed talk with one of the faculty members, the head of the department, who was telling me that they have a lot of data with them.
Mhm.
You know that SVSI is also responsible for giving the yoga protocols to the Prime Minister. Every June 21st, I think, is celebrated as Yoga Day. And also, they are doing a number of research on how yoga, natural acupuncture, acupressure, all these are helping in people combating the diseases in a natural way. So that lot of data is generated, and you're just discussing how in one program they had a program called Reversing Diabetes with Yoga. They
Okay.
had some huge number. I forgot the number, but it was very big, and it was so huge that they could not handle the data. They had to call machine learning experts from Delhi to tackle the data. So
Okay.
we were having a discussion, and he was asking me whether I could train their PhD students in data analysis. Then I said, definitely yes, because I also will get to learn a lot of new things. Because as I said, you know, working with doctors is like working with a new data every time. Each time I get the data, I get new information.
Yeah, even I did a course with MIT recently,
Mhm.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So there we had to learn Python. It was one of the requirements. I this Python statistics, what we do with the Python is valid in research articles, or they demand only SPSS or something like that. That was
Python is acceptable. See what
can we quote say like we write in our research papers that is we used SPSS version 27
happens.
latest that software from IBM we use similar way. Can we also quote this is Python oriented
Yes, yes,
statistics?
Python is
It's valid.
acceptable. Yes,
It's
it is. It is. It is.
okay.
See, what happens is one research I'm working on right now. The university has specified that it has to be in SPSS, but
Okay.
nowadays not many people are going in for SPSS.
Okay.
Python and R are the key things. R, of course, has
Okay.
always been the leader in
Oh,
research,
but
and
not the
Python
SPSS,
was
not the SPSS.
not SPSS.
SPSS is the leader, I thought.
No, it was once upon a time when there R and Python were not there. See, I
Okay.
also have done a lot of workshop in SPSS, and it was, in fact, that time also it was a very expensive software.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, it is very, very user friendly. Once you know, I mean, if you don't go to the programming part of it, if you're learning only, if you're using the Excel kind of spreadsheet kind of thing, it is very user friendly. And there is another software called SAS. I think
Yeah,
many of
I know.
them will be
I
know
know
this.
that. I know that. Yeah. Yeah.
So SAS, if you see, many people are learning SAS for only one reason.
Yeah.
The government, the food and the drug licensing, they are insisting that all the reports of the clinical trials should
Mhm.
be in SAS.
Okay.
So that is the reason why many people are learning SAS. But it's a niche thing. You know, you cannot use SAS every. I mean, you can use, but it is not that user friendly. Mainly used in the pharmaceutical industries. So if
Oh.
somebody is very keen on going into a biostatistics area,
Mhm.
wanting to do research in that area or join some pharmaceutical company, then
Mhm.
definitely SAS is the tool.
Okay.
But what, as I said, it doesn't really matter. You use Excel unless your university or the journal specifies that you have to show the results in this software. Any software
Great.
would, yeah.
Oh,
Even a
I think,
simple
yeah.
Excel. In fact, I am a great fan of Excel. Though I know so many softwares,
Yeah.
my first love is always Excel.
Yeah, even
You
I can
yeah,
do a lot of at least the descriptive
yes,
all the analysis using the pivotal tables. I can do that in Excel, but can we code the Excel also? Data analysis done with it.
yes. I have used Excel in many of my research papers.
Okay, okay. That
So Excel
was
is
always
perfectly
I
fine.
was under the impression that we should be quoting only SPSS. Okay.
No,
Was wrong.
sorry. It has changed now. Yeah,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're saying is right. It was like that at one point of time.
yeah.
In fact, I want to also tell you, I still go sometimes because of lack of time, I stopped. I was also associated with St. John's Research Institute. I
Mhm.
was taking classes for their hospital management students.
Yeah.
And there I used to teach them operations research. And
Okay.
they were very surprised that all the practicals I did was in Excel only. Using Excel solver, we
Yeah.
did everything.
I know
So
Excel
because
is a very powerful software.
yes,
We
it
can do a
is.
lot with
Yes,
this. Yeah.
yes.
Even I saw
And
that we can do the chi-square test also in Excel.
yes,
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
operation research, it has a special add-in
Mm.
which will help us to do any of these linear
Yes.
programming models.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that also is there.
Okay. With
So
this, we can start your presentation, ma'am.
yes, we will
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
the presentation.
Yeah.
And before we start, I would like to give a brief introduction to a very important thing here.
Yes.
That is, it's not sharing yet.
Uh, I have not. Okay, you are a co-host now. You should be able to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
it has been it's sharing now.
Yeah, it's sharing, ma'am.
Okay.
You can go in
So
work and
um,
you can make it. Yeah. Okay.
it's shared. Okay.
Yes.
Please feel free to interrupt me whenever you want
Yeah.
and ask me any questions because you know it is a very interactive sessions. If you
Yeah.
have any specific doubts regarding your own research,
Yeah.
the participants can just unmute and ask or
Yeah. Yeah.
just let me.
All
Yeah.
of you, please, you can unmute anytime and ask question, or you can raise your hand also.
Yes.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
Why we need hypothesis testing and why it is so important? See, many times, you know, I think many of you also would have been asked this question. When I say, when, you know, when the movie starts, any movie you go to, what happens in the beginning is that they show a documentary of a person smoking and getting cancer.
Yes.
It's a very, everywhere, all the movies they show, it's a very good thing because at least when they show it so graphically, people will be little scared. So many times people ask, Arey, I have one friend or I have an uncle or I have somebody whom I know who is always smoking. That person is a chain smoker. He is 90 years old. He doesn't have a BP. He doesn't have sugar. He doesn't have any health problems. He's going on smoking. Even at the age of 90, he's always smoking. And he doesn't have any problem. Then why do you say that smoking causes cancer? So, would anybody like to answer this question? Because I'm sure you also would have encountered being doctors. Um, you also would have encountered such questions.
Yeah.
Anybody
Questions
would
now.
like to hazard a guess?
Yeah.
It's similar to saying, we talk about a very famous person, a millionaire, billionaire, and we say, Arey, that fellow is a school dropout. See that after dropping out of school, he is in such a big position. He is having mansion, he's having his own private jet. And
Yes.
what are we doing? Studying school, college, and then slogging our backs off.
Yeah.
school dropouts have a better life. So this is like that only. So would anybody like to hazard a guess? That is actually the key behind hypothesis test.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
See, yes, sir. Anybody would like to answer? The youngsters here? Guess, take a guess. It needn't be the.
Ma'am,
Yes, Oshin wants to answer, I think. Yeah, we'll unmute her.
Yeah. Yeah. She can.
Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. You can unmute yourself.
it
Hello,
may not be the
hello.
Yeah. You can speak.
Uh, yeah, hi, good evening, ma'am.
Good
Very
evening.
nice to meet you.
Yes.
It's a guess. It could be chance only. Like
Hmm.
there could be a 0.1% who does that, but it doesn't mean that that is the hypothesis, actual hypothesis. So for that to happen, we'll have to take a sample size and then we have to do research. Like how many of people do get converted to cancer, and that becomes the result. So
See, we are taking only 1%. But in this world, how many people are smoking? Isn't it? Somebody else also
yes.
wanted to answer. Kausar, you were about to say something?
Kausar ji, you can
uh,
say something.
yes, ma'am. I was
Uh,
about to say that the same may not be true for the rest of the people. Like it
yes.
is just for one person, not the entire population.
Yes.
So
See, if this one person was representing all the smokers, then yes, what you're saying is correct. Like what I'm saying is correct. So if this one school dropout can represent all the school dropouts, then even one person in the sample size is more than enough. We don't have to take many samples. In fact, many people are under the impression that to do hypothesis testing, comes into the picture. What is hypothesis testing? So I've tried to make very few slides because my intention is to discuss with you the meaning of hypothesis. Now, what is the meaning of a hypothesis? For example, as I said, smoking causes cancer, or there is an association between smoking and cancer. So this is my hypothesis, or this is a statement which I'm telling about the entire population, which consists of lakhs and lakhs of people who smoke. So how I arrived at this, and when I've already given a statement, why should I again go into the whole process of understanding test statistics, applying it on the software? I mean, it's like too much. When I already know, why am I doing it again? There are two reasons for this. One is I'm doing it because I got past data. I don't have the current data. Maybe that is one reason. The data which has been taken is from another sample. I often hear people saying, like in US, for example, people drink. I don't know which other country drinks, but even there, it's not that every day they drink, but generally over the weekend they have a little more, permissive than us. Why Indians can't drink so much? And when I say women should control their drinking and women should not drink, it sounds very sexist. Oh, why shouldn't women drink? What is it? You're talking like a very, some 30, 40 years back person. The reason is very simple. It is not the same that you cannot compare oranges and apples. You cannot compare American hearts to Indian hearts. There is a famous quote for that. What is that? American artery, something like that. We don't have that. Indians, Asians, we are not blessed like that. Our arteries clog fast. So we have to be very careful. So our data may not have been taken from our population. Another reason is data, there are certain data which we call as qualitative data. So when I ask you, okay, how many cups of chai you have had from morning? How many times you have checked your mobile from morning? How many rooms are there in your house? You can answer very fast. If you have kept a track, of course. Otherwise, if I ask you, okay, how are you feeling today? Somebody raise their hand. This whole exercise, what we are doing today, you may not be able to give an answer in a very simple word. You may say at the most, Okay, I like it or I don't like it. Suppose you're having some headache, and I ask you, okay, how is your headache? Then how will you describe your headache? You can't say, no. So I may say, okay, rate your headache between 1 and 10. So you may be able to rate it, but still I won't get the accurate picture. So hypothesis testing is important because it gives us a very clear idea about the situation on hand. So mainly two things, because I've not mentioned in the PPT, I'll tell you. One is hypothesis is a statement which is derived from past data or by using judgment. Since I have been, for example, I've been in this teaching profession from so long. So the minute I look at a student, kind of, I can judge, okay, this student is like that. Not that I'm always right, but majority of the cases. So it is a statement which is derived from past data or from my judgment. Just because I am saying something, you don't have to accept. You should not accept. So what we do? To test my hypothesis, we take a small sample. It can be as less as 3 or 4. Let us take, for example, atomic reactions. How many atomic reactions have happened in this world? Can we take a huge sample? You have only whatever you have, that itself is your sample. So very small sample also will serve our purpose, provided we take it correctly. Now, what is the meaning of take it correctly? If I have a group of 20 people and I take the top 10 or the bottom 10, bottom top 5 or the bottom 5, I'm doing something very wrong. I should take the average, means the sample I choose should represent the population. Let's say, for example, I am making a study on the effect of some tablets on obesity. So what you do, you only take the fat people who will have who you want to reduce, make the study on them. Now what happens? Your sample is not correct. If your study is good, it should work on everyone. It should not work on just the fat people. But yes, for example, if you're testing for diabetes, you cannot test it on a normal person. You have to test it on a diabetes person only. So like that, there are many small things before you start doing the research. In fact, I always tell my people who come to consult me, please don't come with me with the data. Come to me with the data. Consult me before collecting the data. Because if you collect only qualitative data or only quantitative data, we can't do too much analysis. Your study will be hampered. So come to me before doing the pilot study. What generally happens is they'll make the study, they'll come, and then with whatever data we have to do something with it. Anyway, so coming to the hypothesis. Hypothesis is a statement regarding the population parameter. It is derived from past experience or from our judgment. So let us start the slideshow. I'll talk less and explain more, and you also please follow that. Here, if you read it, I have given a few case studies. There are 2 hospitals. I'm focusing on the ENT because sir is from the department. So I thought, let me focus only on that. So there are 2 ENT hospitals, and we want to know whether there is a significant difference. See, look at all the 3. I'm going to show you one more slide wherein the keyword is significant. So any of the youngsters here can explain to me the meaning of significant. Why it is important? Why this term should come there? Take a guess. No problem. No marks are deducted for taking a guess.
Yeah. Anybody? Anybody can take that.
Yes.
Guess? Feel free.
Yes, Oshin, please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Like again, like we said in the earlier scenario, like it should not be a chance phenomenon, like in one or two cases or one or two event.
Yes.
So like there should be continuous consecutive events happening in the same way to say that it is significant. So we mentioned that significance.
Yes. This is a very important factor which says it should be random. There should be no pattern. See, for example, if I'm getting a fever a particular day and the next day after taking a paracetamol, I'm fine. It is not significant. But if I'm getting fever every single day, then it is significant. I have to be worried about it. So significance means that it has some property which it has an element which is not random. What is random? It is random means it is something which is occurring just like that. See, for example, now if you are having some interview and you're very well prepared, everything you've studied and you've made full preparations, you're like fully confident, but that particular day, something happens wherein you cannot answer. Maybe you got late, your bus got delayed, your vehicle broke down, or when you went there, you suddenly felt blank, or they asked you something which you never expected they will ask. So all these are beyond your control. But if it is significant, that means there is something which you have not studied. That means there is something lacking in the effort. Another example, let us say there is a bus which comes late once in a while. Now, it's okay. Once in a while, something happens, the bus comes late. But if the bus is coming late, say a particular day of every week, say on Tuesdays, it's coming all late on all Tuesdays, then there is a significant thing. Then we start exploring. Okay, why? What's happening on Tuesdays? This actually was a study which we have done. Tuesdays, the bus would come on a route in which there was a temple. Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday, not Tuesday. And a lot of brush would be there on the road. So the bus invariably got delayed. So there was a significance there. The bus route had to be decided based on this temple situation, location. So that significant plays a very, very important. So another few examples are given just to get you into the idea. Hypothesis testing, when you use in the medical field, there are n number of opportunities. It's not restricted to ENT. It's not restricted to any discipline. It's universal. You can even have a hypothesis testing for the number of patients who are waiting to meet the doctor, the critical patients. So there are lots and lots of tests. Actually, it is mind-boggling to know how many tests are there. Now, the next question you're going to ask me is, okay, when there are so many tests, how will we know? I have my data with me and I don't have time to sit and prepare, read all the statistical tests. There are some 10, 15 tests. I don't know how to prepare. First and foremost, I should identify. It's like, doctors have one full big, catalog of medicines. They have to know all, only they can prescribe. Okay, I also may know, okay, crocin I have to take, dolo I have to take, dart I have to take for headache. All that I know. But a doctor will know correctly, okay, where the ache is and what exactly has to be given for that. So this kind of thing, again, a person who is, I'm not saying good, a person who has learned a bit of statistics will be able to understand. So now you'll ask me, okay, how will I learn? Everyone is very busy. All of us are very busy with many things. Anything new is always little scale. So when I say so many tests are there, so I'll just tell you one thing. It cannot be learned in one day. I take the data analysis course online for 15 days. And the first statement I tell the students is, don't expect to become data analysts after 15 days. Don't expect to put a board, I'm a data analyst. It won't happen like that. So like that only, when we talk about testing, hypothesis testing, it will take time. One of the easiest way is to take any data, wherever you catch hold of data. If you can't catch hold of data, get it from Google, put medical data, a lot of data sets will come up. Take one, start analyzing. A simple graph also is good enough. People think, array, what is there in graph? We have been doing it from 5th standard, 6th standard. No, graph is a very, very important component of data analytics. Just today, 3 to 4:30, I had a class on data visualization. The whole course is only on data visualization, nothing else. So that should give you an idea of how important it is. Next, what are the tests? What are the tests will depend on what data you have. Do you have qualitative data? Different kind of things. Do you have quantitative data? Do you want to test the mean? Another test. Do you want to test data before and after something? Pair t-test and so on. So let's quickly go through some of the tests. Please don't get scared looking at the test. I have given you only a small short, brief snapshot. As sir said, this is the first of the series. We will have multiple, series, just like a small dose of injection every time. Instead of giving you a big dose of injection and making you scared, small injections we are going to give you. We hope to give you so that you understand. So we have a 2-sample t-test, a new medication, and a placebo group, totally independent of each other. 2-sample t-test. Chi-square test between two things which cannot be numerically measured. So when I say smoking habits, smoking, non-smoking, you cannot measure. When I say, hey, how bad a smoker are you? Okay, you may say I smoke 2 cigarettes, 3 packets, 4 packets, like that. I don't want that. I want in terms of that smoking weight. You cannot say, no, I'm 50 kg smoker. You cannot say like that. So it is an attribute. It's a variable. It's not a variable. It's an attribute. Lung cancer develops in stages. You can measure it with the symptoms, but you cannot really say it is this much kg, right? So that is chi-square. Pair t-test, I give a painkiller injection. I measure the decrease in pain, or I measure the decrease in the heart hypertension after giving a medicine. I measure the decrease in blood sugar after giving a medicine. Before, after, that is pair t-test. When I have two groups of data, men, women, t-test. When I have multiple groups, men, women, children, old people, seniors, super seniors, like that, same thing goes to another one. It's all extension of each other. Regression, very important, because I want to test the relationship between two things. So when we take insurance, people will not look at just our age. They also look at many more things. Where you're staying in, the kind of, occupation you're in. I'm sure doctors will have a high stress levels. So their stress levels is not comparable to my stress level as an academician. And my stress level as an academician may not be comparable to somebody else's. So I have to look into my own group to understand the relationship between two things. If I eat one full packet of chips, how much my blood sugar will go up, how much my weight will go up, how much my cholesterol will grow. It is not the same. A 16-year-old girl eating one packet of chips will be able to tolerate it much better than me. So you have to be very careful like that. Then normal distribution is something which people are very, the minute they hear, they feel, okay, what is normal distribution? Is there something called abnormal distribution also? Normal distribution is the basis of many hypothesis tests. With the famous bell-shaped curve, like this. And many people don't realize that when the data is small, you don't get a bell-shaped curve. When I was teaching, my HOD always used to say, hey, why these class marks are not bell-shaped? How come so many students are getting above 80%? Just to tell him, sir, it won't come bell-shaped when you have less number of people. Bell-shaped can be seen only when the data becomes larger. That's called the central limit theorem. So when you don't have a bell-shaped curve, you go for the non-parametric tests. There are a lot of tests like this. I've just given a very, very brief introduction. I have a few case studies. It's a little long because, you have to read to understand it. So, sir, do we have time for them to read through?
Yeah, they can go through. Yeah.
Yes. I have about 6 case studies, but
Yeah.
I'll not discuss everything. I'll just discuss only a few. So if you read it, probably we can,
use the
give.
case studies.
Huh.
What we'll do is we'll start with some basic thing.
Huh.
Use case studies which teach the basics this time. Then we
Huh.
can go for the advanced little later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you one. That's a good idea. Before we go in for the case studies, we'll go for some hypothesis testing concepts.
Okay.
Hypothesis testing depends heavily on descriptive statistics.
Okay.
1 second. I'll just let me open a new slide here and write it down here. So the first thing what we do in any hypothesis testing is to collect the data. See, collecting the data is people think it's a very simple. Go to our hospital office, get all the information, and that's it. That is it. Only if they have collected all the data. See, many hospitals, I'm just talking about hospitals because most of your doctors here, many hospitals have forms which collect information what they feel is correct. Like, for example, that is correct also, like age, date of birth. Some people collect age and date of birth. That's also okay, because if you want to update it, because today I may be something, after 10 years, I'll be something else. So if you collect my date of birth, it is always better. Then the conditions I'm having, which doctor I want to see, address, and so on and so forth. Now, if you want to collect a particular bit of information, your hospital may not have collected it. So here we divide the data into two types, primary and secondary. Simple. If you want data, go and collect it. Don't sit here and it's like, just go and do it. That kind of thing. That is primary data. Or if you can't do it, ask somebody to collect it on your behalf. So if Prahlad sir wants some data and he doesn't have the time or the energy to go and collect it, he may assign to one of you here to go and collect the data. That is still primary. You're collecting on his behalf. Primary and the secondary data is the data which have got it from somebody who has already collected it. They have not collected it for you. They have collected it for themselves. But you are asking for it. That's all. So when I take data from the Google, it is secondary data. Google is not collected for me. It is collected for itself. I am taking it. So the data collection has to be done very, very accurately. This is especially true if you're doing a very solid research, if you're writing or if you're planning a very solid research. Not just research paper, for understanding also. If you collect the data wrong, garbage in, garbage out. You feed in wrong data, wrong answer only will come. So the next thing is very simple, data cleaning. Very overlooked and very, sort of neglected area of research. I got the data from 100 people. I just upload the Excel file and start analyzing. No. Data cleaning refers to removing unwanted information, extra information, removing some. So generally, when you send data over the internet, some unprintable characters come into the data. If you see in the internet, you'll see some, like hourglass or some hashtag, something will come into the data. Excel will take it as an error. Any software will take it as an error. So remove all those. Empty spaces, fill it up. Missing values, fill it up. Some of them may not have typed in a few blanks. So the blanks will be there. Fill it up with the mean or the median. All this comes under data. So once the data is cleaned, we go for graphical representation. As I said, we should not undermine this step. Graphical representation means not just drawing graphs, also drawing inferences. Then we go to descriptive statistics. Very important. Let's say, for example, I want the mean. I want the mean blood pressure of people after eating a particular dish. Or after doing some physical exercise, some heavy exercise, running, swimming, something like that. I want the blood pressure. Now, I should be able to explain the blood pressure in easy terms. And what is that easy term? That is descriptive statistics. I have taken, say, for example, 100 people for my study. In some people, after running like anything, the blood pressure has shot up. In some people, it has not shot up that much, whatever is the reason. That reasons we'll see later. It has not shot up that much. Now, it's a mix. What do? We take the mean. Add all the BPs, divide by 100. Now, what has happened? We get the mean, no doubt. But mean has a very bad tendency to move, to keep moving. It's not a robust measure. If there are too many people having high BP, mean will become high. Too many people having low BP, mean will become low. So mean is not the right choice here. The choice is something else because there are many, many descriptive statistics. Then again, see, when you talk about statistics, it's not just one number. It's not just, okay, you find this and your work is done. No, there are many, many, many intricate things here. It's very important to understand all this if you want to analyze your data well. And why you need to analyze your data well? Not just to publish research paper, but also to improve in your domain. Then we have the concept of variance. Variance is the one which tells you how dispersed your data is. So for example, if I take my sample from a group of 20 girls who are all studying in the same class, the variance will be very less because they're all around the same age group. Their thinking is the same, their studies is the same, mentality is the same. Whereas if I go and stand on a very busy road and I catch hold of 20 people and get information, variance will be large because I can catch hold of a 16-year-old girl, I can catch hold of a 5-year-old kid, I can catch hold of a 70-year-old man, 80-year-old woman. So the variance will be large. And this variance will help to explain the randomness. If there is a continuous variance, something is wrong. If variance doesn't show any pattern, it is random. So you can go ahead. Then we come to, after descriptive statistics, we go in for the core analysis, which involves hypothesis testing. One of the few things, okay, not the only. Then, of course, I'm giving you a very simplified. Then we go to the conclusion. So these are the primary steps in any research or any data which you're trying to understand. So as a medical practitioner, the most important thing is to collect data and arrange it in a proper format. See that the units are the same. We had a data set in which doctor, I'm not very good at those things, but I remember doctor had prescribed tablets to some people and syrups to some people. So mostly I think children are given syrups because they cannot swallow. So tablet are in, I think, mg and syrup are in, say, ml. So if your data is like that, mg, ml together, then you cannot analyze it like that. The mgs have to be separated, the mls have to be separated. And again, the other thing comes, okay, how many are given mls? The little kids, maybe less than 6 years or something, are given mls, liquid. Others are given tablets. So you cannot directly compare. That age group has a different reaction than the bigger age group. So that also comes into the picture. See how important it is to note down the data correctly. Separate the kids, separate the adults. So mls are separate, mgs are separate. So data cleaned. Then we go for the graphical representation, which shows what happens when you take that particular drug. Then we describe it like we describe, you go for a movie and you describe it, okay, the set was like this, the heroine was like this, like that, you describe. Then hypothesis. Can you extend the result of the sample to the whole population? You may have only 20 people in your study, 30 people in your study. Your whole population may be 1 lakh. How can you extend the result through the hypothesis testing? And finally, we come to the conclusion part of it. Very tricky, very, very tricky. My data is for this, for India, Bangalore. Suppose I have another data for some other country, say like Europe. Is it going to be the same? We don't know. We cannot say. As a data analyst, we cannot draw such conclusions. So we say there's a small amount of error, what we call, in my analysis. That we represented by using the level of significance, confidence level, and so on. So I've given you a very, very brief overview because, as I said, it is not something which I can explain in 1 hour. But if I've stirred up some interest in you, then my evening is well spent.
Yes, ma. Very precise introduction. I think that will definitely elicit or stimulate our mind as well as I'll put myself first because
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
also learning from you. And
Thank you, sir.
all
It's
the
a
students.
very nice
Yeah, yeah.
having
What we
this
will,
talk.
yeah, yeah. What we'll do is we'll not end this at this thing at this junction. We'll take it forward regularly. Every week we'll have this 1 hour session, and we'll take it forward. And also what we'll do is we'll do a core course and Excel, you know,
Yes.
statistical analysis using Excel, medical
Yes.
statistics analysis Excel. So what I will do is I will take out some our this thing, whatever our research publications we are preparing this thing, and based on that we'll take one example and we'll go and practically analyzing that.
Yes.
I think that way everybody
Yes.
gets
Yes.
good first hand
Yes.
this thing. And these introductory events and all, I'll put it on the YouTube also. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
That will be.
okay, yeah, that will let people who are missed this event, they can also have a glimpse of it. I will do that. And any questions from any participants, feel please, please feel free to ask, raise your hands or unmute yourself and clarify your this thing doubts. Please, anybody. This we want this to be a very interactive session. Don't hesitate. You know, we should never hesitate to ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
That is the
asking
way to
asking
learn.
asking question is not exposing our ignorance or something. It is knowing more. You know,
Yes.
we can nobody can expect us to know everything. Okay.
Definitely.
Every
Definitely.
day is a learning experience. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody?
Yes, Sushi.
Hmm.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Actually, I just missed out that slide 4 where you explained the t-test and all, ma'am. Could you briefly tell those again, ma'am, in short? Or will
Yeah,
you be
sure, sure.
explaining it later?
I'll tell you right now, very easy. You have two independent samples, men, women, totally independent of each other. Then we go for a t-test. Okay, we take a group of people, we give them some, they are having some problem, we give them some medicine, and the same group is tested once again. So you have
Hmm.
a before and after kind of scenario. That's a
Hmm.
paired t-test. Independent
Okay.
t-test, paired t-test. Two
Okay,
groups
ma'am.
of people totally independent t-test. The same group of people measured before and after. Paired t-test. That's all.
Even I had this confusion
Thank
earlier.
you, ma'am.
That,
Thank you,
that
ma'am.
got clarified today for me also, actually.
Yeah,
I
okay,
was
sir.
very
Yeah.
confused between this
Yes, yes.
territory test and this thing, you know.
Yes. And
Yeah.
another example, see, if I am having, suppose I have 10 people, and these 10 people, they take their medical reports to two different doctors and they get some answers. That is again paired t-test, because though the doctors are different, patients are the same. So it is done on the same group of people. That is why paired t-test. And an extension of this is the repeated measures ANOVA, if at all somebody is using it.
Yeah. Okay, now as we go on
Thank
doing
you, ma'am.
the course on a regular basis, we will have a practical experience with those tests.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us, that too on a Sunday weekend and the
Yeah.
evening time. Thank you so much because Sunday is the ideal day. We are all busy with clinics and other things another day. And
Correct.
specifically, I must thank you, like you're taking
Thank
out
you.
your Sunday evening and sharing your valuable time with us. Thank you very ma'am. We'll have a detailed insight next time. Uh,
Definitely.
Future event.
Definitely.
So we will make focused events we'll create based on this experience. Thank you, mom.
Sure.
Thank you all. Have
Yes.
great weekend. Whatever time left, utilize that. Have a nice time.
Yeah.
Okay, see you all again next week.
Yeah.
We'll continue to have these events. Yeah. Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
everyone.
So much. Bye.